Okay, giddy up. So we're podcast number 8. Is that right? We just talked about this. I forgot already.
You said 7 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. All right, number 7. So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the guys here. We have Todd. We have the captain. We got Jim. We have Josh behind the board. Myself, and we have another guest tonight in the house, Mr. George Denton. Thank you, George.
Good to be here, brother.
Yeah, the crowd goes wild. George and I go way back to, I was going to say high school, but it's actually before high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Well, I guess middle school, you're right.
Norrisville Elementary, right?
You went to Norrisville?
You did.
Oh, I did.
I went to Jarrettsville.
Yeah.
Then,
but your mom would bring you to church where I was going. I don't know when that started.
Oh, North Hartford Baptist. Yeah. Oh, this was a good
That's
time.
when I first remember seeing
Yeah, absolutely.
Always causing trouble. But anyway, so George has agreed to come and say hello with us and sit with us and talk a little bit about what he's doing. And listeners, you'll know why in a minute. But again, one of the things we wanted to do in this podcast was to open up the topics quite a bit, not always have the heavy ones, which we're going to have occasionally, but to also have the light ones, and most importantly, to do things and to talk about things that were beneficial to not just to us, but to people who would listen. And since we're all roughly the same age, again, we're talking to probably the middle-aged guy in most cases, middle-aged women as well, and how it affects how today's culture and the things we're going through affects us as individuals, but as family members, as citizens, as national citizens, whatever. Jim, by the way, welcome back.
Thank you.
I just realized it's been that long.
It has been.
It's been a while since we've all been together.
It has been
a long time for us because we missed a week, and Jim was traveling the week before. And how was Nashville?
It was stupid.
Did you get to sing?
I was singing nonstop.
I mean,
but
not just to yourself.
No.
Not on a mic?
No, it's not that kind of trip. No, there's real professional singers there.
I thought for sure you were going to come back with a contract,
I came back,
or at least a story.
I came back with a liver problem and a hangover, and got us very sick. Yeah, the last 2 times.
But you had fun.
I had a great time.
Okay.
Yep. It is.
We were kind of hoping you'd call in, but we understood when you didn't.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, there was going to be a call.
Yeah.
We were going to test it.
There's no way.
He was busy.
It's so loud. And I don't even remember where I was, but it was so crazy. I would have had to walk outside. I don't know if I would have been able to get back in. It was because it was at nighttime already.
Yeah.
And once the sun goes down and it's rough getting back in.
That sounds like a song right there.
Yeah,
That's right.
Once the sun goes down, it's hard to get back in.
that's what she said.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh,
anyway, what else was I going to ask you about? Go back to the call-in thing for a minute. I think we're going to go ahead and try it next week.
Yeah.
We're going to be gone, and depending on who's here and who's the guest and all that stuff, I might say, hey, Jimbo, why don't you run the show?
Ooh,
and I'll call in from the Caribbean.
You're going to be in the Caribbean?
Yeah, I'm going to be in the Caribbean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not to brag. I'm not
Third
trying to
vacation this year.
brag. No.
Second, I'm sorry.
Anyway.
You meeting up with
Did I have another one?
Are you meeting
No,
up with Fonnie Willis out there, or what are you doing?
Me and Fonnie.
You and Fonnie?
Go down and
that right?
Also
she's
known
got
as-
mad.
Are you wading into the pool?
Known as Fanny.
What's her nickname, Jim? I can't remember it right now.
Be careful.
It's just in the news, though.
What do you... If it works out, Josh, I should tell you this. Engineer Josh, we'll try the call-in thing.
Oh, that would be great.
I think we're on the same time zone because you weren't. You were actually an hour behind us.
Correct, yeah.
And but I think where we're going to be is the same time zone. So I should be able to, if you guys are still doing it, and I'm assuming that you are, but we'll talk about it as far as topic or guest.
Where in the Caribbean are you going to be?
The Dominican.
The Dominican, okay.
The Dominican.
Big puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be nice. I'm looking forward to it because it's been a while since I had a little break.
Didn't 300 prisoners just escape
I don't even hear anything about
prison on the
how
other
dangerous
side
the
of that
Caribbean
island?
is.
Yeah. I think
today or yesterday?
3,000 just came across the border, so I'm not even worried about
well, there was exactly that happened. There was a couple on a yacht that were in the Caribbean, and the prisoners took the yacht over and those people are missing. They're presumed to be dead.
When did this happen? Because
Last week.
how did I miss that?
Well, you hope you weren't on the yacht, apparently.
Well,
but yeah, so I believe they rented a yacht or a catamaran or whatever it was, and they're in the Caribbean, and some escaped prisoners got on their boat.
they pirated the boat?
Took them hostage and took them off the boat, and they're now missing. And there was another couple that were with them the day before, but they weren't there when it happened. So they were interviewing the couple, and so apparently they're still looking for these people. They're missing.
Yeah, they're gone.
300.
They found a lot of blood on the boat.
Yes. Yeah.
No people.
They killed
Correct.
But I'm serious. Like in Haiti today or yesterday.
Oh, same
like,
island.
There's a huge prison outbreak. I'm not kidding.
Yes.
That's great. Well, like I said, 3,000 just came across the border today. So, what's the difference?
Haiti.
21,000 encounters in 72 hours.
I saw that. That was impressive.
How much?
21,000 in 72 hours.
Okay. Well, that's great. We keep going for the record.
It's just over the 5,000
Yeah.
a day.
If they would have passed it.
Yeah, you're right. We have Haiti is the same island as the Dominican.
Yeah,
It's
just
just the
one
other
side of the
side.
other.
Yeah.
We're just on the east side. God.
They probably have a better wall.
I'm sure they have a border.
Yeah. No worries.
You're right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're already all over the map here. But so we got some travels going on. We got I'll try my best to, and I'll let you guys know before, so we're not killing time. But I think between Kevin and Scott, you guys will have fun. We're going to get into why you were invited in just a minute, George.
Okay.
But it's also a little bit intimidating because of your little broadcast experience. So as I talk into the microphone here, I'm like, he's judging me. I know.
No,
He's judging me.
Not at all. No, I would never. You're doing a heck of a job. You guys, it sounds good.
Wow, look at these
Listen
guys.
to-
Can't go wrong with
I had
Todd
a-
behind the
Yeah,
mic over there.
I had an invite, and I'm like, I need to get in on the ground floor, and at least before he's too busy to take my calls.
We have, again, another reason why you're here is we wanted to not just promote what you're doing because we are going to do that, but you kind of got, and I guess, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but you kind of got late in the game in this with the whole physical training. And again, I don't want to skip too much here, but at a certain point, we were members at the gym.
Right.
And I think it's right about that time is when you started, if I remember correctly. So we're talking, what, about 10 years ago?
Box gym, yeah. Yeah, local
Am
gym.
I right about that?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Which gym was it?
Anytime.
Or Anytime Fitness?
Anytime Fitness.
Or did you start somewhere else
Good
before
people.
that?
No, that's
Okay.
where I started. Yeah.
So local, obviously there's several of them around here, but this one was right, one over in Amy Clay.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know where we're at, we're Northern Hartford County, Maryland, and there's several of these gyms. So I was a member, you were a member, and you started doing some training?
Yeah, had a good time. Manager came up to me and he's like, hey, you know what? You have a passion for this? You want to be a coach? And I'm like, yeah, why not, man? My kids have been telling me, get a hobby, Pops. I mean, boys are in high school and they're like, yeah, I see Dad not doing a whole lot. So, yeah, I fell into it. I give those people a lot of credit. They gave me my start. And, when COVID hit, man, I launched and decided to go on my own. Like, so many others, life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So, and that's what I did. It's a little 20 by 20 garage conversion to, it was climate controlled. I started with 2 members. I'm up to 20. So Shameless self-promotion. Hit me up on Instagram. Gains, Gainz by George.
All right. We're going to get to that. Yeah. Jeez, he's already killed the show. And thank you, folks. We'll see you next week. Well, but let's back up a little bit before you get to the where you expand out and go out on your own. So, is that what motivated you? Was just the owners of the gym you were at, or was there something else going on where you were like, I'd like to do this? Is this something you've been thinking about?
Yeah, it's something that.
What is going on over there? What is going on?
Yeah, it's something. He's a man of demand.
Checking the scores?
He's checking their phones. Yeah.
We're looking out for you, Mike.
It's all coming back around to that.
It's a work text. I'm sorry. The fire truck needs a tire.
Thought he was checking something on that border.
I was like, something's bad. Something big's going on.
Right.
He was doing that earlier. He showed me.
There's an invasion going on right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you out, Todd. I think it was funny. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying? I think I cut you off.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I did.
Had you thought about training up until then? Or
Yeah, it's something I've always enjoyed, and it's rewarding, man. Opportunity to help people, and whether they're wanting to lose weight, gain muscle, just at any age, we want to be as healthy as we can. So it's been a great time. I have clients that work hard, and so I just pivoted and decided, hey, I can do this on my own. So here we are.
I mean, we're in a room right now where all six of us have obviously been involved in sports. We've been involved in athletics, probably spent time in the gym. I'm not speaking for anybody here, just from what I know, but I know Jim was pretty much. I was going to say it was your life. I'm not saying that, but you were very involved as a lifter.
Yeah, for
early in our careers, especially
for a very long time. Yeah.
You played soccer on the side.
Here we go.
There's no. That's a no. I wasn't that good of an athlete to play soccer.
You know what? You just reminded me of a question. And I'm wondering to know if you've come across this, because it seems like I've seen it a lot. Maybe I say a lot. Maybe it's only been 5 to 10 times.
Right.
But these are guys that we grew up with, our age, either in high school, out of high school, college, and weren't involved in sports.
Yeah.
Didn't do much physically, and then all of a sudden getting to lifting, or gym, and end up becoming athletes without ever really picking up a cross stick or a football or whatever, baseball glove. And it was really at that point of my life that I started realizing how important it was to get into the gym.
Yeah. You look great, by the way, brother. Do they know your story,
here's my
man?
$10.
You are down in weight. I mean, looking good. He's eating clean. He's an example to us all.
No, I've been inspired by we got this guy over here. Don't tell me you haven't lost weight.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Last year you lost a lot, though, right?
But I haven't worked out at all.
But no, that's the point.
Diet.
It was all diet.
How many deer did you drag this year?
There's some workouts.
Well, how many deer did you drag? And then you'll have your answer.
Nice.
I'm holding that question. How do we train for dragging deer? Because nothing gets you ready for that.
No.
Strong core.
Is there a particular method
Cardio.
for dragging deer?
Well,
Do you drag it? Do you carry it? What?
You got to keep in mind that both areas where we hunt, talking 45-degree hills.
And you're downhill.
I don't know. Oh yeah. It's always you always start at the bottom.
they always go downhill.
And it's just it's like halfway through we're like,
Sucking wind.
Wait, is there a
why are
strategy
we
for
working
that?
out? We can't
complaining.
do this.
Yeah.
Should be easier. And it's like
Right.
I'm not sure if there's anything that you can do to train for that. Honestly,
Other than doing that.
other than
Because
doing
you're
it.
talking about what kind of weight normally, roughly.
Dead 200 pounds at least sometimes, and
sometimes.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
So how much live?
Well, I mean,
No, just kidding.
How much live? Well, if you're dragging it while it's still alive, you're doing it wrong.
Okay, so we're roughly 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have resistance because it's friction on the ground, and you're dragging.
So you are
across.
dragging.
You are dragging unless you have, you know.
You can't deadlift it on your shoulders.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah.
Well, uphill 45 degrees, I guess not.
It's sticker bushes, the whole experience that goes with it, right? It's not like
You didn't cut a path beforehand?
no, generally
Bush
no.
hog it?
No, that requires equipment.
But it's funny because over the winter, I don't know how many times we've said, every time we break, we're like, one of us says, we got to start working out more.
Yeah.
Every time.
Anyway, we
Every break.
got to cut a path.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut a path so we don't have to, do this.
Jim, will you buy a 4-wheeler, please?
That's right, or a tractor.
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, why don't you have a 4-wheeler?
exactly.
Out of all the, that's, I thought, your first purchase. I would have thought.
Yeah, you would have thought. But I pushed a 22-inch non-self-propelled lawnmower for 4 years before I got a zero turn. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that one year I lost 40 pounds just in the summertime from pushing a lawnmower.
Right.
How many acres did you have? That you mow?
That I mow maybe 2.5.
2.5 acres with a push mower.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's, yeah.
6 hours it took
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
6 hours.
That's the old school
Oh,
way.
man.
That's how it was when we were growing up.
That's right.
Until
George, you
But
can
I'm
include that
all
in your,
grown up.
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah,
tw-
now
I'm
you're
not
grown up.
20.
routine there.
It's crazy.
That's great.
Yeah.
I did that once, but
Great cardio.
I had less than an acre, so I can't.
I would
can't
come
compare.
in. I would come in and cramp up and just go for like sodium and potassium. I would literally cramp up.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing football.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Call the paramedics.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky. Gotta.
All right. Well, going back to that though. So you're carrying. I think this is actually a perfect segue here. So this is why we work out, so that we can do the things that we want to do throughout the day, throughout our lives, and can do it. Because it gets to a point. Again, listeners, we're all roughly the same age. I think we're all in our 50s. Well, except engineer Josh. Yeah, this is the decade when things start getting tougher. I mean, it starts beforehand, but it definitely, at least in my case, I obviously say it took a serious downturn.
If you let it.
Yes. I mean, it snuck up on me because it started with surgeries.
Right.
And, you come out of a back surgery and you're like, okay, I can recover from that. And you start to, and you're doing okay. And then, got a knee surgery. And then another one. And next thing you know, 5 years, 6 years have gone by and you're not working out.
And you're eating like you are.
Exactly. Eating like in the 40s or the 30s.
Eating like there's no other problems.
Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like, wait a minute, I've never been this weight before. And then the simple things that you want to do, and I say simple, but drag a deer, go umpire a game, whatever it is you want to do that's physical, just go play ball out in the yard with your kids or
Getting out of bed.
Movement is medicine.
Yeah.
Movement is medicine.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I just went up the steps and I'm gasping for breath. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, now what do I got to do? I go back and I'll try the same thing I did 10 years ago. Well, it's not working like it did 10 years ago. Yeah. And then I find myself then all of a sudden paying more attention to what George and these other trainers are saying, whereas before I just kind of ignored them, And I think a lot of us do that. I'm not saying you guys did. You guys look great, by the way. I just started paying more attention and saying, wait a minute, it's just not going to work like that anymore. And even then, I've tried a million different things, a million different training programs, nutritional programs, and I was just sharing with George, last week or the week before, that it's all of a sudden just threw all that out and just it's back to basics. It's watching the calories I eat, the number of calories I eat, and then going to and what type of calories I'm eating, and I started to do that without the gym, just to see how much changing the nutrition part works. And I was sharing with him 17 pounds in 1 month.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
That's great.
That's no working out.
Pure, absolutely pure diet.
And I can recall, and part of this goes back to what you guys were doing, I guess about a year ago, maybe more, when you guys were just walking.
Yeah. Well, we're still doing that.
But
with a rucksack with 20,
yes,
30
exactly.
pounds. Yeah.
And all of a sudden weight was going down.
Oh yeah. Every time we would lose weight, we would put it back in the pack. So every time we get jump on the scale,
Smart.
lost another 5 pounds. Well, 5 pounds went in the pack. So
you
we didn't have to
go.
work out longer or walk longer or hike longer. We kept the same time frame for the most part. Yeah. We just kept adding the weight back in. So the intensity was getting easier. So the intensity it keeps increasing the intensity or the same output by putting the weight in the pack.
And when you say we, it's you and your wife.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this happens to be the same for, I think it's similar for women than it is for men on this kind of level of fitness, where obviously we're different.
Yeah.
But this kind of basic fitness and nutrition.
Yeah. It's just
movement.
It's just walking, movement, keeping everything lubricated, joints going, and we're not even at the working out point yet. So
exactly.
I needed to lose so much body fat and so much weight to get to a point where I can, now I'm going to start building muscle again, because it's hard to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. It's really tough because you got to have your macros and your micros really tweaked right, and you got to be tracking everything in and out, calories in, calories out, and you got to be really on that. So it's a lot easier if you can just get that body fat down to a reasonable, manageable level, and then you can start adding the weight training and the resistance work to start building that muscle back. And then you'll actually be able to see it a little bit more and have some, say, you look in the mirror and go, okay, that's some positive reinforcement.
Right.
But, you're working out and getting stronger and you just look like a stronger version of your fat ass self doesn't really motivate me. Right. I need to get that body fat down. You know what I mean?
So George, I hope you're learning
you look
something
great,
from
man.
us.
Absolutely. Notepad
Taking
here.
notes, George.
Well, it all depends on where your starting point is. If you're if you look like an Alabama tick, you got to do something about that part first. You know what I mean?
Hold on, there's the title of this episode. If you look like an
Alabama tick.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
So it all depends on where you are. What's your starting point, and then you can get a program or a goal to fix what you're trying to fix.
Yeah.
So you're starting to train, and I imagine your clientele at this point. You said you started with. Well, let's stick with the gym for a second.
Yeah.
You're mainly at this point training are people our age, or were you going younger, or all over?
D1 athletes on up to my oldest client, lady who's 82 years old. And she comes in, she's an inspiration, and just, I'm like, boy, another client, 69, and Bob just turned 70, so he's crushing it. So it's rewarding, and you train them a little differently. You go with the heavy weights and the compound movements for the D1 athletes, and then the others, just the key is movement, functional movement till we go to the grave, man. We got to be able to squat, reach. So
Get off the floor.
it's a lot of fun. Exactly.
I've fallen and I can get up.
I like that. Yeah.
If the quiet one's on the other side of the table, if you were to compare, if let's say your top athletic ability when you played ball, did you play baseball too? Mm-hmm. Like high school or?
Yeah, I played baseball whole life.
Your whole life. Yeah. So you started baseball as a kid, and
yeah.
you just, because I know you played softball, but I didn't know when you started.
When I moved to Maryland, I started playing softball.
Okay, that's probably wise. But all right, let's just say at your top, if your top ability is 100%, what would you rate your? And this is for everybody. I'm not just picking on you. What would you rate your percentage now compared to your 100%?
And you're talking about a back injury.
That's what I mean. That's what I want to. That's why I'm saying it, because we've all had these.
60.
That's not bad. I don't think. I think that's pretty good. Actually,
It's a good-looking group here, so you guys are all active.
So you can know that because when I'm at 60 or whatever I am at, and I don't even think I'm there. I think in my head, I'm still 95 to 100. And
But
that,
you know you're not.
you know you're not, but
Well, a
in the heat
realistic.
of the moment, you go after the ball or you go whatever you do.
You mean in your head, you think you're
Yes.
18.
Yes,
Going after
if you
the
want to
ball.
do ages,
Right.
yes, that's
me-
correct. Yeah.
Reminds me of a Toby Keith song.
Yeah.
Good
that's
once
right.
as there ever was. Yeah, I know.
That's right.
God bless him. But I think the further we get from that 100%, while we're still while we're still active in those same activities, you increase exponentially your what am I trying to say? Your risk of injury.
Your recovery time, that's the big thing. The recovery time.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Just,
Exponentially longer.
it's awful. It's something 2 weeks. Would have taken you 2 weeks to be back is now literally 3 months.
That's if it's an injury. Just doing
Just
the sport
doing the
with
sport.
no injury, just the lactic acid and the movements that you haven't done, and you can't do at that level when you exert yourself. Your recovery could be a week or two.
Yeah, I've told multiple people this. You know, I play softball, church league softball. Again, it's not like high end athletic kind of stuff, right?
It is for you.
No way, yeah. And so, you know,
For all of us.
I,
you know what I mean?
I was a sort of a high end athlete when it came to baseball and that sort of thing way back in the day, right?
Yes.
But you know,
You're still doing 100%.
the last 5 years, you know, you play softball. The next day, it's like you're sore all over, and it's like this shouldn't be happening,
Right.
Right? It's softball, for goodness sakes, right? There's no way I should be this sore from playing softball. It's crazy.
The lateral movements, the movements you just don't do all the time. You just
Sitting behind that computer
Yeah.
8 hours a day,
Yeah.
that doesn't help either.
Same with me. I was back in the day. I was one of the top 30 baseball players in the state of Maryland. I played in the we used to be the Hearst All-Star, the Crown All-Star game. Top 30 players in Maryland. And you want me to give you a percentage of what I am from there?
Yeah, I do.
Zero. No, I'm serious. Zero. I could
you've
do,
had to deal with a lot of injuries.
I could literally do zero of what I could do then.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, rode hard, put away wet, broken, fixed, repaired, titanium, you name it. I can't do it. Just can't.
Okay, here's the question.
That's impressive, though. Top 30. Yeah.
Would any of you do it differently?
I wouldn't go off that
Knowing
cliff.
what you know.
Yeah.
Sports-wise, training-wise, or effort-wise, barring injuries that you didn't foresee. Yeah, obviously. But what, if anything, would you do differently knowing what you know now?
Talking about just fitness.
Yeah, just fitness.
Randy's
We're
rethinking
staying
his
out of
soccer career.
relationships. We're staying out of...
We're talking marriages here.
yeah.
Mine are all injury related. That's what,
So you wouldn't?
no,
Yeah, but your career got in the way. I mean, were you as active as you'd like to be? I know I'm not.
for years, honestly, I felt like I worked in between playing softball. I felt like that was like this. I really did.
Hey, right.
We didn't lose a game for about 3 years at one point.
And you're really still doing all of this stuff at a high level. You still playing basketball?
Yes.
Playing
but
softball?
I'm telling you, I don't play softball anymore.
Well, not because you don't want to, because you can't stand it.
Up until a couple years ago,
That's a different story.
I could play
Yeah.
basketball at a very similar.
Yes,
level.
up until a couple years ago. That's friggin' impressive.
And it was
a couple
injury.
years ago.
But it was an injury that
Correct.
changed it.
But a couple years ago, I was still at a zero, and you were doing it at a really high level. So that's impressive. So you've had some longevity. I mean, greatness there. That's very impressive.
Let me re-ask the question. Let's go back to your 20s and 30s. Would you be doing anything now if you could go back to that? Would you do anything different now that you did then?
I felt like in my late 20s, I was in the best shape athletically of my life. Like I wasn't like I surfed a lot.
Right.
When I was young, so I was always very, very fit.
And the reason I'm saying, the reason I'm even asking that is because something happens. Now, sometimes it's multiple things that happen: injuries, obviously age, lifestyles, the way we eat, what you name it, drink.
Good.
If it does look good, if those things are important, now I kind of turn the question over to George again. What do you tell your clients, knowing that what we've been through and what we're all going through? Does it? It's almost like, can you even say, "Hey, look, let me teach you how it is, young man. This is what's going to happen if you don't do what I'm telling you."
Right.
Do the people still how do you motivate people past that? Because, or can you?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down, if I could tell my younger self, I mean, I wish I had someone that could sat down with me and said, okay, here's the proper way to do a bench press. Here's the way to do a curl. You're squatting. Oh, by the way, your low back sucks the way you're doing that form. So, form is key. Obviously I'm a little biased, hire a professional and allow them to show you. But no, it's... and everyone's a different situation.
Do you get more resistance from those who have never really, I'm sorry, I'm saying it backwards. Do you get more resistance from those who have been in the gym a lot of their lives versus those who have never been and they're looking for help?
There's a little bit at,
Probably
I
fixing
saw
bad
this.
habits.
Yeah,
Probably
I saw
trying to
this
fix
on
bad-
YouTube. Yeah, what do you mean I can't go ahead and bench and, push it up into a squat and go into a lunge? I mean, so it's... Yeah,
That's CrossFit. That's not what we're doing right now.
Oh, man.
That's an injury machine.
We're
right
talking
there.
longevity. Get away from that. Yeah.
CrossFit injury.
Yeah. Knees, shoulders, elbows. But
All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate for just for a second. Because when you watch these CrossFit athletes
right.
compete once a year for their, the top male athlete, female athlete.
They are beasts.
They're beasts.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
how do you say, don't do that?
Everybody comes in at a different level. It's like, most of my clients are, middle-aged, and they're like, you know what, had some kids, family, life gets in the way. It's my time, and it's time to make me a priority. Some, it's a wake-up call. It's a medical issue. They come in, and we address it. So, each person, it's customized to the individual. So not necessarily one size fits all. Your strength may be in squat, but, someone else's strength, upper body. So, but it's a matter of making a strong core. It's like you were talking about, Jimmy, with your routine.
The rocking, yeah.
But the core is essential, and then taking it easy on the joints.
Do you incorporate some of the CrossFit type of workouts into what you do, or
No, I believe that the greatest success that we've had is training clients where strength training is your entree and cardio is your side dish. Unless you're Scott and you could ride a bike from here to Chicago.
where are you, Scott?
Mission Scott. But that's what I tell people. I mean, we slam battle ropes, and we'll do work on the bench and squat, and don't do a lot of back squat. But again, to the individual.
What do you do then, if not back squat?
Kettlebell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or,
Almost like a front squat.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, which is a really good way to. But it just depends. A lot of, like I say, everything's customized to the individuals. But yeah, the majority are in the same boat as we are. Guys going, you know what? Damn, I put on a couple LBs, and again, making myself a priority. You go to the doctor. It's a wake up call. Doc says, guess what? We're going to put you on high blood pressure meds, get your ass off the couch kind of thing.
Yeah, your A1C's up.
And I've been there, man.
Yeah.
You were in great shape. You guys were in awesome shape in your 30s, man. I was a workaholic and not paying attention and 20 pounds heavier than I am now. So, yeah.
Well, I got paid to work out when I was on the SWAT team.
That's a good point.
So, I wasn't in my best shape of my life in my 20s and all the way up until my early 30s.
And beyond.
Even better shape then than I was when I was even younger, in my early 20s, because I was doing a totally different routine, you know, with a lot of running, a lot of circuit type training, and then weightlifting, and then going out and doing all that physical stuff.
Right.
It just
You're constantly in motion.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And you had to, you had to go. You had to work out. You were getting paid to do it, so you had to come in and you had to do it. And we did it as a team. So I mean, that's the best. I mean, how do you get any better than that? I mean, you're getting paid.
Right.
You're getting paid a lot of money.
It's like a professional athlete.
Exactly, exactly what it is. Yep, and some other skill sets that you acquire. But yeah, so it was fantastic. And then back to your CrossFit thing. That's like a sport in and of itself. So you're trying to be the best CrossFitter that you can be. So you're training, it's a sports specific type of movement. So you're doing these clean and jerks and you're doing all these different crazy things. And you're trying to do this at a high level and be the best at it. So it's a sport in and of itself.
That's a good point. Like the
you're
pull-ups
not just,
there's kip pull-ups.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's a totally different animal. It's, you know, you're not isolating things and you're doing lots of different compound things and crazy things. And yes, it will make you a beast doing all that when you're younger, but it's also very injury prone and you can, you know, pay the price for it when we're our age if you're going to be doing that. So, you know, you know, I'm not bashing it at all, but it's, you know, it wasn't a thing when we were growing up. There wasn't a CrossFit thing. It was, you know, you would work out and the strength training was all there. So that's part of it, but there wasn't really a CrossFit thing. And it's turned into its own sport, the games.
It's like a religion.
Yeah.
But yeah, CrossFit, I have tremendous respect.
Absolutely.
The dedication, the athletes. I still watch those CrossFit games. Used to be Reebok.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is now, but
Rogue for a while.
there you go,
Yep.
Rogue.
Yeah.
But they're impressive athletes at a high level. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're great athletes.
Well,
I think it's a good point, though. You look at it as a game in itself.
It's a sport in and of
Can I
itself.
ask a question? George, can I ask a
yeah,
question?
fire away, man.
So I've never been a big gym guy, and Jim could probably vouch for this. He probably laugh at this, but I've never been a big gym guy, and you know, I think a lot of people are in my boat as well, right? You see all these, you know, all these muscle heads, and you know, at the gym, you know, throwing weights around and all that. They probably couldn't run 100 yards and without, you know, keeling over. But
That's right.
So, and I look at all the special forces, the SEALs, and those the guys that make it through are not the biggest guys in the world. Matter of fact, a lot of them are pretty small.
Right. That's
but
right.
Man, they are fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible, right? So, you know, I've always been kind of on that side of the fence that, you know, you don't have to be these big muscle heads, but it's always been kind of intimidating, right? You go into the gym, a lot of people, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't fit in here, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the Planet Fitness kind of motto, right?
Right.
What are your thoughts on that, George?
Pick things up and put them down.
Yeah,
exactly.
That
Well, there's a lot of enhancement that takes place too.
That too. That's for sure. For sure.
And I think it's about challenging yourself, realizing I'm starting at X with a given lift, and then seeing the progression. Because I have no interest. I leave the heavy weights to the young bucks, and but for those of us that are getting back into it after a layoff, hey, you know, 3 times a week, you do like these guys, man. Diet. I mean, Mike crushing it. So it all starts with nutrition. That's the big thing.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that.
You could do it. Come on over. We'll have some fun.
Plus, I think a lot of the gyms now are not, I mean, like the version you just described is kind of more of a stereotype now. And there's still that going on. Trust me. You know, you see it, especially the bigger gyms, I guess. But you see all types now.
Yeah, it
People
depends
are
on
there.
the type of equipment they have.
Yeah.
If they've got a lot of free weights,
If it's free weights only, you
and hammer strength. But if you got, you know, if they've got 6 Smith machines, it's not going to be that type of gym.
and a lot of classrooms where they're doing.
But it gets
spinning.
back to can you be as healthy as possible as an athlete without actually weights, with your own body weight? Can you be
Body weight's great.
right? And so that was a sort of second part of my question. You know, do you need to go to these gyms with all the free weights and stuff to be the healthiest person you can be?
Right. I've had good success with that, but certainly the person that doesn't have access or really one piece of equipment, if I could name one piece, I would own a kettlebell and you could do it all. You know, like you do your push-ups, but kettlebell, you're holding it. You can do squats, you can do swings, you can do a clean. But and by the way, I hope you're taking progress pictures there, Mike, as far as your
I probably should, but I don't.
Yeah.
Side profile with the paper.
Don't share them on the group text.
I was going to say, I am going to send them to you guys.
In a Speedo?
Definitely a rear view.
What is this, a Turkish prison? You ever seen a grown man naked?
I mean, to touch on something that the captain was just talking about, kind of following up, is that do you really need to join the gym? Obviously, there's the body weight exercises you could do, but look at what you're doing with a modified home gym. A lot of us have home gym equipment.
You have a sweet setup.
It's getting there, but it exploded during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were just so many people buying equipment at that point. You couldn't get equipment.
Cost of weights, yeah.
You couldn't get
what
equipment.
I was paying because, it's crazy.
I remember just trying to get a bench, and you were on a wait list.
Back order. Yeah, right.
So, do you recommend that even your clients that they're investing in home gym equipment, or you're just giving them exercises?
What you're paying for is accountability. I mean, if we're talking about a personal coach, and I have a coach as well. I mean, shout out to guys down at Exile. We're wearing your T-shirt right now. But every coach needs a coach, so you never stop learning. We all need to be pushed, but accountability is probably the biggest thing. When you look at your calendar and you're like, damn, I've got to be there at such a time, such a date. It isn't one of those, well, maybe I'll start tomorrow or I'll
Consistency.
blow off today. Yeah. Long-term consistency trumps short-term intensity, right? Bruce Lee.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I encourage people first and foremost to learn the form, but to baby step. I think us as guys are like, we think back to maybe what we benched years ago. We go in the gym, we're all stoked. And no, it doesn't work out that way. Start out light.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Male ego. To your point, Kat.
I keep a medical bag in my car.
That's right. Yeah. You walk into a gym, you see somebody, I've got 315 on the bench, and you're like, oh, damn. Here I am with 2 quarters. Phew, let me get this up.
Well, Jim and Patty wouldn't have got their caterer for their wedding if it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Do you want to tell it, or you want me to tell it?
Oh, that's a good. Sounds like it's going to be a good
No,
story.
you should
Planet Fitness
tell
story.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Planet Fitness story. So go ahead.
Well, let's hear it.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
I want to hear it.
No, it goes back to thinking you're 18 again, and your first time or one of your first times at Planet Fitness.
This was in the circuit.
Yeah, it was a circuit.
It was in the circuit room. So keep going.
All right, yeah,
I'm just going to stop you when you're going off track.
But you try to overdo it, right? You think you're 18 again, and, and you're almost 50 at this point.
There was no soccer balls involved.
No soccer balls, and hey, I can go on the soccer field all day long, and that's why I don't like the gym. I'm more of the give me on the field,
Picnic on the soccer field.
I will
kinda
die
guy.
on the field before you. Yeah.
And we had to run over to Tudor Fresco's to get him some food because we thought he was really going to pass out. And he was that bad. I mean, he was gray.
And they enjoyed the food so much they hired the
And we
Fresco
loved the
as their
food so
caterer.
much they catered our wedding.
No way.
That is the real truth. That's the truth.
Absolute story. I don't think I went back.
Thank you for almost dying.
Yeah. My pleasure.
He never went back.
That was it. That was the final workout there.
No, I actually think I did go back a time or two. But yeah.
Yeah, I
I've
think
just never been a gym guy.
You went back, but you didn't go inside.
Stayed out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I'll be right out
Drive
here.
by.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait for my wife
Well, you
to
work
finish.
out in the basement, so how did that happen?
What?
I mean, you work out in the basement. That doesn't happen to you. Maybe it was the venue.
Yeah,
You could take a
I-
break, have
Yeah,
pizza.
maybe. Yeah, that's true. I can go
Get a beer.
go get a beer in between.
He can
sets.
build a whole gazebo in 90-degree weather and not have that happen.
That's true. That's his workout.
Doesn't make any sense.
You mentioned the consistency. What happens when you get a client who's just failing to be consistent? Do you kind of take a frame of mind of, I'm going to show you what to do. You're either going to do it or you're not, or is it kind of like
There you go.
you're babysitting? I'm holding your hand, baby steps.
No, initially through the process, but it's a lot of, it doesn't finish. My job doesn't finish my passion. I mean, I don't even want to call it a job. It doesn't end after that hour session. It's the text. Like I just hit up clients on the way here. Hey, did you get your workout in? What'd you eat? They came in. One guy had confession today. He said, I'll be honest, I had 13 cookies over the weekend. I said, okay. It's going to be a tough workout.
You're going to pay for that when you come in.
That's right. We are going to work.
Well, that's again. Do you do that? Do you say, okay, well, we're going to try to make up for it, or do you really just kind of say, look, you can't work out a bad diet?
Yeah.
So
You're right. You can't out-train poor diet. There's no way. It's, I lay out the plan. It's up to them to follow it and say, okay, I'm going to eat my protein, my complex carbs, my veggies, etc.
But you can't lay out a diet that's not feasible for the long term either, right? I mean, so there's a
Gotta be
balance.
sustainable.
There's a balance.
Boy, we could do an entire
There's a
show on
balance
that, huh,
there.
guys?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm done with those.
Ozempic.
Right.
That's the rage now.
Yeah.
Let me take Ozempic.
I brought everybody an Ozempic pen if they want to try it. I didn't.
Keto. Yeah, you lose weight, but
You'll get it
comes time
back.
to.
I tried. The last thing I tried was a carnivore diet,
Oh yeah.
and I actually liked it.
And you got
But I
swole.
still couldn't sustain it
Yeah.
because it's like, I want pizza tomorrow.
Yeah. Becomes tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think you just break it down to basics. Yeah. Keep it simple.
So you're designing plans for your clients. Is that right?
each
Fitness and
one's
nutrition, or
custom.
just
Yep.
okay,
Fitness and nutrition.
male and female?
Yep. So majority clients range, they're middle-aged, like I say, from college athlete, but on up to my 82-year-old. But majority are in that sweet spot where we are. It's like, okay, time for me. I need to go ahead and I've had enough. Been sedentary. It's time to work out.
How do you determine, what my diet would be or my nutritional plan would be versus the 82-year-old? Do you have like a
Yeah, there's
platform or
there's certainly a formula
program?
that you can go by because I take a look at activity, BMR, basal metabolic rate. How many calories do you burn throughout the course of a day, and obviously if you're delivering for UPS, you're burning a lot more calories than the person sitting at a computer. But
that basic formula, without any movement whatsoever, just sitting down, breathing all day, would be your body weight is if you're 200 pounds, 2,000 calories for a 200-pound man should be your basal metabolism, basal metabolic rate, without doing anything at all but breathing.
right.
So that anything over and above that, depending on your output, you need that and over and above. Am I
You're
correct? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Spot on.
And that goes in the hand with what I've been doing this past month was that because of what you just said, I knew that a certain amount of calorie burn was natural. So I knew as long as I stayed under that number of calories, I'll either plateau or lose. But
You should keep losing, and then when you stop losing,
I want to increase movement
both ends.
Yes,
Increase your
exactly.
output
And reduce.
And reduce your
until I get to whatever my goal is. And then, of course, I want to maintain at that point, which means my calorie intake might go up a little bit and then focus maybe with a little bit more additional movement. I mean, in my head, that's my plan right now.
Right. If your
I got a
output,
6-month plan.
if your
but-
output is going up dramatically,
Yeah.
you can increase your intake
Right.
a little bit too, and you're going to need to fuel your workouts.
Exactly.
And also
You need that
gain some muscle
fuel.
mass, lose some body fat. But I mean, yeah, you can do it that way. But as long as you're always in a calorie deficit, you should always be going down.
Then you look at protein. You're going to build muscle through protein and through rest, really.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, simple rule of thumb is if it's 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight
daily.
Yeah, you know that.
Minimum.
Right?
Minimum.
Exactly. So,
Do you guys do supplements? Any of you take any supplement at all? Or
I take that athletic greens every day.
Do you?
That's it. And I take magnesium though.
I take some of that too.
I take that just because of cramping after
Yeah.
basketball.
Milk of magnesia.
collagen's a good one. You
Really?
guys take collagen? Okay.
As a separate thing?
Just
Or?
look at it's great for the joints, and you can always tell. Or I can tell when I've run out.
When you've run out of joints?
But
When my joint's not
stash
working.
is gone. Is that what you're referring? But
When my joint's not working, I take collagen.
Yeah. So when my 15-year-old dog beats me up the steps, then I know I need to get back on my collagen. But no, that's great stuff, man. I swear by it. Vital protein.
Yeah, my doctor told me to start taking the men's 1 a day kind of things, and I'm not so sure I'm sold on it, but it is what it is. I'm not sure how much you
Is that just basically taking vitamins? I mean,
Basically, yeah. I mean,
Is that guy still
it's got a
using?
little bit of everything in it.
Is that guy still using Old Spice?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Flintstone vitamins.
Men's 1 a day. I'm gonna say that guy smells like Old Spice.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh man.
When you say, you taking collagen, is it in that 1 a day? I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you don't know what's in it. It's got a lot of
I
stuff.
don't know what's in it. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
Collagen. I went to trade school.
Well, one of the nice things about our career was there was always also peer pressure. If you were the guy or gal that looked like shit sandwich, you look like crap in a uniform,
Oh yeah.
then you were that guy, and you didn't want to be that guy.
No.
And you could be all different shapes and sizes and still look good in the uniform. But there was a lot of peer pressure.
Well, did you see the article recently? I was going to send. I forgot to send it to you guys. About the Maryland State Police uniform.
No.
Being like the least sexiest uniform in the nation.
I didn't say anything about
yeah,
sexy.
Yeah, I need to send that to you guys.
No.
Sexy. What was the most?
I don't remember what I didn't look.
He was
but
focused on
it
MSP.
was focused
That's
on
what
that.
it was.
Was it really the least?
It was down there. I don't know if it was the least, but it was.
It's not that
one
great.
Of the least.
I will say
it was
it's-
like one of the least.
I don't know.
All right, I'm out of the loop, guys. Has that uniform changed much over the years?
No,
it's still the
unfortunately.
same.
Yeah, they won't let it.
You know what changed is no, but they were discussing the change they were trying to get a more tactical.
For night shift.
Yeah, exactly, for night shift, and they didn't because of the traditionalist view of keeping it easily identified as a Maryland State Police uniform, which I vehemently argued against because number one, why are you wearing shiny core frame shoes or very shiny brass at night when any light can pick you up now? When you don't always want to be shining. So okay, fine. You want to wear your uniform, your regular nice dress, not even a dress uniform, but their class. What was it? Class B.
Class B. Yeah.
To court.
Nobody wore the Class A's anymore.
Exactly. Then that was fine. But they were pushing for that at one point.
Well, that's so restricted. I couldn't even draw my
couldn't
weapon.
get your weapon.
I couldn't get my weapon out in Class A, so I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right. What'd you end up?
But you look good.
What was the SWAT attire?
You had a car.
Oh yeah, SWAT was like you're wearing.
Did you say a car?
BDUs. Yeah, I had a car. Right.
His most utilized weapon.
Never did that before. No.
Sorry to get you off track there.
All right, Captain, I want to know the truth. What was the sexiest? Come on, you know you read the article.
I didn't.
If you were to guess,
Guess.
what would be the most?
Well, if I ever had to be pulled over by a state trooper, it would be.
My,
I don't know.
Mike's,
Chip,
Mike,
the
Mike's
chips.
on his
It's gotta be
phone.
chips, I guess.
That's right.
It's gotta be chips.
Yeah, there you go.
California Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
That's right.
Eric Estrada.
That's
Yeah,
right.
sure.
Yeah. Eric Estrada.
No, I was not looking at that.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
find it now.
Yeah.
I saw the article, but I didn't read it either. Because once they said we weren't sexy, I was like, I'm not reading that.
Fake news.
Yeah.
We're too sexy for our uniforms. Did when you decided to do training as it was that was going to be a source of income and whatever. Is there like one regulatory kind of body that determines who's eligible to be called a trainer versus?
Yeah, there are a couple. It's ACE, NASM. There's the big three as far as trainer certifications. So you want,
And I'm assuming there's different levels then within.
you want to definitely want.
Our boys fly, but if you get a pilot license,
Yeah,
doesn't mean you can
hey.
fly commercial.
How about
you
our
get?
boys?
I know. Hey, but and then what I realized is, even when you get a commercial, that doesn't mean you work for the airlines yet.
That's
You got
right.
you got to get your hours in and get that level.
Yeah.
So I'm just assuming there's a similar kind of structure for
Right.
for
And
personal
then
trainer because of liability.
Yeah, right. And
Knowledge.
the training techniques and things come out on nutrition. So it's really a constant, and it's something that you have a passion for. I'd love to help people, man.
Do you have to keep certain? Like, do you have to get like recertified a certain every so often?
Yep.
Okay. All right. But I guess that's good. How do you know if, how do you specifically do it? Where, like you just brought up, like doctors, the medical community is always changing. They're always, there's always new techniques, new
Right.
experiments, new whatever,
Sure.
new medicines.
New standards of care that they have to go for re-education, retraining.
Yeah.
Are you getting that in your training, or
We
are
do
you
that as
personally just
well.
staying on it?
Yeah, it's staying.
Or do you
I
go
put a
old
lot-
school? I found my way.
No, I put a lot into it, but at the end of the day, a bench is a bench, a squat is a squat. I mean, there's new studies and whatnot.
Well, I mean, you
Things
brought up
change.
Time under tension.
Oh, my favorite principle.
Time under tension.
Dude, oh man. I have dumbbells. I have dumbbells in the car. Or no, you
I'm
have
right
stuff
here.
in the basement, right?
I'm right here.
Time under tension principle.
Time under tension.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up kettlebells because, again, 20 years ago, nobody was using kettlebells hardly.
yeah.
I don't recall. I'm sure they were out there. People were using them, but now it just seems like they're in every gym.
Yeah.
And, so I look at that as a new
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a great piece
style of
equipment.
training that, at one point, somebody had to say, hey, this is a good way to go. And
Yeah.
people start buying in.
Kettlebell is a good piece for sure.
Take them to the local surf break.
Even dumbbells, you can do a lot of stuff with dumbbells.
Now, I'm right here.
Great.
Yeah. I'm right here.
We, I brought up age. We're 1 day apart, George and I. He's
Who came out
He's 1 day
first?
older. Same hospital.
Same hospital. Is that right?
Same hospital.
So you're actually before middle school.
That's true. He was probably robbing my crib or whatever.
He was like,
Big bully. Big
don't
bully.
eat that. Yeah. That's not good for you.
We lost track of each other. Not to.
Yeah, out of high school for a while. Yeah.
His
I remember I was
his
looking for a gig.
retirement. We went out for lunch, reconnected, man.
Yeah, that's right.
We're still
And here
ta-
I am.
We're still talking about this friendship, right?
All red, white, and blue.
Here we are. Wow. Okay. So, but I know. Yeah, we've actually passed the hour mark. So
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh.
It goes fast.
We're going, what? It's not an hour 30.
It was last week, but that was Dave Sexton's fault.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen Dave in years.
Yeah, he was our guest last week. So, listen, we appreciate you coming in because, again, this
Absolutely.
is this, as heavy as politics or whatever, because we're all over the map with some of our topics, but I think these are very helpful for, the person who's out there listening and going, I wonder what I should do. Should I get back into it? And, and then they hear our stories or our situations and they're like, yeah, I've had a couple surgeries and they got back into it. Maybe I can too.
Yeah.
So
it's about movement. You touched on it earlier, Jimmy. It's just
and diet. Right?
Yeah,
Use it or lose it.
nutrition, but we need to move.
we probably should have spent
get off
more
the couch.
time talking about that one because it's so important.
Oh, we can make
So once you
Mike, how did your fast go?
It went great. It was a 60-hour fast.
did you do? You didn't do the 5-day?
No. I was asking you about it because,
I didn't know about this.
it was
Autophagy.
Not too long ago, right?
No, it was only it was during the playoff game, I think, or right after the playoff game.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah. So we started at 9 p.m. on a Sunday.
You both did it.
No. Me and a couple of guys were just talking about it. And we just decided online to do it together. And so what is that? That was so Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. was 60 hours from Sunday night. And I thought going into it, this is not going to be good. Especially that first day, Monday, I'm going to be starving. I had a couple of little hunger pangs, and I just drank water. We call it the water fast because
It's just water.
It was just
Nothing
water,
else, right?
but
Yep.
I didn't even. I know some people had coffee. Just
Coffee with no sugar. or anything,
sugar,
right?
yeah.
No cream, no
Black
sugar.
coffee.
black
fine.
coffee,
Yep.
but I don't like coffee, so I just stuck with water.
That would be a must.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And by Monday evening, I was like, I got through that day okay. And then Tuesday, nothing. I felt nothing other than fine. And I was like, if this keeps up for just another 12 hours, I got this no problem. And it never. Now, from what I hear, it can be different every time you do it, and it can be different with each individual. So there's no guarantee. If I did the 60-hour again, I might be like, oh God, dying for food. Yeah. But that particular one, I was not, and it was either 7 or 8 pounds came off during that 60 hours. Now you're going to gain some back.
All water,
yes.
mostly water.
And I was expecting to gain probably 5 of it back.
But there's cellular benefits to doing
Absolutely.
that, right?
That was the key. That's why I did it.
Right?
Well, I did it for a couple of reasons.
Autophagy.
One, I wanted to see mentally how it would impact me. And then that's when I was asking you about the 5-day, right? Mm-hmm. And then because I knew that's a whole different ball game. It's
the first time
it's only 2 more days, but still
correct.
2 more days.
It's the first time I did it. I only did it for 72 hours. I did it for 3 days, and it wasn't super bad. 5 days sucked. The last day was bad.
Really?
Yeah, I was dragging.
Now, was it because you were hungry or was it just mental?
I was just tired, and it was also mental too. I was like, I want to eat something. Not that I was hungry.
Right.
I just was dragging, and I just needed to eat something.
Huh.
To get me out of that funk. But yeah.
But
I was tempted to go one more day because I felt so good at the end of the 60.
Yeah. But can you guys kind of expand upon the benefits of doing other than losing weight?
Yeah.
Jim, you've talked about this before.
Yeah, the reason,
I think this is fascinating because I didn't really know about this.
It's amazing.
Recently.
Go ahead, Jim.
Did you read up on it at all?
A little
after
bit.
I told you about it?
A little bit, yeah.
So the principle, what you're trying to do is a term, and I might not be pronouncing it right. It's like autophagy or autophage. It is what happens is when you starve your body like that, when you do the fast, the certain older cells in your body that are dying or it basically your body catabolizes them. It breaks them down and it regenerates new cells when you do that. So so if you have like cancer cells, the theory now, I'm not a doctor, but if you have like cancer cells developing or something in your body that's developing, and you have older cells with missing DNA or stuff like that, as we old and our skin cells turn over every so many days. I can't remember how many days it is, but.
No, but you're on the right track.
Yes,
they're healing themselves.
Yes, they're literally eating themselves. They're eating the weak. They're eating the old. They're eating the stuff that's not performing properly, and they're cannibalizing themselves. Okay,
yes.
And they're eating those cells and generating new cells by doing that. So it's a cleanse.
Did you know? Yes, that's right. Did you know before you did the fast that happened? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the whole reason.
I had
for doing
just heard that.
It had nothing to do with weight loss.
Yeah. Well,
for me, it did.
And I recommend that you never do it for weight loss. because again, you're going to gain a lot of it back.
Yeah, and it's
Now,
mostly water.
I said I'm going to gain a lot of it back. I gained 2 of it back, plateaued there, and then within like 2 more days, those 2 came off. So I really didn't gain it all back. But at the same time, remember where I was. I was like at the beginning of this little journey. So I was in a weight loss pattern
And you
already.
didn't go back to eating like you were
That's
either.
correct.
So when you
Stomach
came,
kinda
yeah.
shrunk.
So when you
Yes.
came back, you were eating smaller portions,
Right.
and you were also eating cleaner.
If I was at the
So
end and just in a maintenance phase, I probably would have gained.
You're
it all
still
back or
going
most
back.
of it.
You're still going in the right direction when you started back eating
Correct.
again.
Right.
Because again, you're eating smaller portions and you're eating cleaner.
And I think that goes back to what I said earlier: is that every time you do it, it's different because you're either in a different spot physically, you're in a different spot mentally. It can mess with your head, but
Some people do it once a year.
yeah, once a quarter. We're talking about doing it again the next quarter, which is like it might be the end of March or whatever. But and I'm all for it. And actually, I'm really tempted to do like a 5-day.
Really?
But I might just do the 60-hour one more time, and let's see how that goes. Because I'm still in the initial goal phase, just trying to get down to where my goal is. But if I'm in a maintenance phase, I might try it. I don't know. But and what I was going to say about the mental thing, it actually wasn't. That's not quite right. But I learned going through it. I think a lot of people struggle with this. You don't realize you're struggling with it. I think I've done this for decades, and that is you just feel like at certain times of the day you have to eat certain types of food. You got to eat it. It's breakfast. You got to eat whatever. You got to have your coffee. And I realized that my food was dictating to me. And by day 2, maybe 3, I realized no. Food doesn't control me. I control the food now. And you realize you're not going to starve to death. You got 7,500 to 10,000 calories available a day of it already in your body. You're not going to starve. So once you kind of got through that number might be low. Maybe it is 70,000.
It's way low. But I mean, if you can not eat
70,000.
for 5 days straight and you didn't starve to death,
Correct.
not missing a meal you're not
There you
going to
go.
starve to death.
So
right?
now when I get hungry, I drink water and I wait a half an hour. And if I'm still hungry,
and I'm
I'll
still
have
hungry.
something. Yeah, if in a half an hour I'm hungry, I will eat.
Right.
Now I might not eat a lot, or I might eat a full meal. I don't know. But if I'm not hungry, then I don't eat. And then next time I get hungry, I'll do it again. Water test is what they call it. I want to say that during the last month that a page has turned, where I just got sick and tired of the standard diet phases.
It's like a mental reprogramming.
Yeah. And something happened. We'll see. We'll see in a few months. Ask me again if I'm up 30 pounds. You'll know. It was
How much have you lost total now?
17 since January 28th.
That's good.
So
I'm at 40 now.
yeah, that's my goal.
Is that right?
That's my goal. So I knew you had to be somewhere around there because I could tell.
But that's been over a year. Over a year.
Yes,
And
and
I've
you've kept it
been
off.
at 40 probably at the 8-month mark.
Did you notice in your movement the weight gone? I mean, in other words, did you feel, I don't know, more vigorous as far as the way you move?
Much more energy.
Yeah.
And much less stiff all the time.
I mean, I know when you have an injury, you have an injury. You got to deal with that.
Well,
but-
for sure. But when you're carrying that kind of weight, I mean, you can't just jump back into doing what you did before because it doesn't work. You can't do it for one.
can't do it.
You can't do it for one, and you'll wind up hurting yourself. So you've got to drop some of that weight in order to start being able to move
Right.
like you somewhat did before. Because if you do it at that weight, you're just gonna you're gonna hurt, you're gonna injure yourself, and then you're gonna go backwards because you're gonna sit on the couch and you're gonna eat more.
Well, I kind of prepped myself too. I mean, it's only been 17. Now 17, I'll take it. Trust me, it's a good start. But I knew that it was going to take a while before I even noticed it, visually, especially visually. That comes much later. but you start to feel it just a little bit. Your clothes start to feel a little different, and you start to move a little different. And I was like, I got out of my car, and I'm like,
Patty's at 50.
I'm walking normal.
She's going to kill me, but
50.
she's at 50 pounds.
That's beautiful, though. That's something to be proud of. That's inspirational, because again, we're not 20-year-olds. We're not 30-year-olds. It's not easy, but boy, when they say just start, and everybody's got to start somewhere, and you might only be 5 pounds overweight. Start, because it will catch up. All of a sudden, you will wake up one day and you'll be like, oh my gosh, it is so hard to move. Oh my gosh, I'm pre-diabetic, 100 pounds overweight.
Oh my gosh, this deer is killing me.
Yeah. So, the basic movements are done. But
Yeah, I have a father and son that work out together. It's really cool, and they come in 3 times a week. Between the two of them, they're down 150 pounds.
Wow,
Jesus.
that's awesome.
Yeah, dad's down 100 pounds. Son, 40-ish. He just weighed in the other day. So,
is that like your most
Dramatic.
dramatic victory as a trainer?
they've done phenomenal job. But
You should promote that.
the father's on the treadmill and elliptical, one or the other, at 4 a.m. and he does that 3 or 4 times a week. And I don't want to turn people off out there. I mean, it's just a matter of starting, baby stepping it, like this gentleman did.
They started somewhere.
At a size 4X.
Yeah.
And to be down 100 pounds. And he started doing a lot of cardio. And then he came to me and he said, you know what? I really need to gain some strength. And then we
They probably lost more weight with lifting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because muscle mass is active tissue. It requires calories to maintain.
Yeah.
Body fat does not. So
That's
the more
my next
muscle mass
phase.
you have,
Get
the
back.
more your metabolism's going to be up, and the more calories you could eat to maintain it. So
Well, how can they? Anybody who's listening wants to ask you a question. How do they reach you?
Reach me probably Instagram's best. I need to start pumping that.
Spell it out.
Got a lot of good things coming up. It's Gains, Gainz by George. That's my IG handle. I'll have content, and also we're going to go. Gosh, you guys are the first ones that I'm telling.
Nice.
We're going to go
exclusive.
online.
Oh,
So
that's
we'll be
awesome.
going online. I'm still going to stay the 101s, and I love those. Yeah, but to be able to cast the net far and wide and have a greater impact on, and it's about as many lives as possible, and that's the exciting part.
George,
So-
when you say online, you mean like YouTube things? Like you're gonna?
Yeah, I'm
step
going to
people
have
through?
a site, and every week will be different. So, say you guys are subscribers, and Mike has done something I think over the years, but you do an online thing, and in this case, it's going to be tailored to individuals. So, I could go ahead and I'll have access to Captain, and I might say, okay, this is what you want, this is what you should do. Most of the people have a similar, I shouldn't say similar program, but it's going to be based around strength and conditioning work. But there's also different parts of the platform that are diet. Like, maybe Mike needs to be reminded of, more protein, and I hit him up through. So we're still in the development stage. I hope to have that launched within the next 6 months. But it's really about making a difference in lives of people and improving longevity. So you guys have some great stories. I mean, down the way, you and the missus, man,
Yeah.
good for you.
And that's after. Say it. That was a hell of an injury.
yeah,
You've been through a lot to
I had
come
a
back.
Catastrophic injury to my neck in a skiing accident. So I wasn't able to really move or do much for it for years, and I ate like I was a marathon runner.
Yeah.
And but I wasn't. I was a marathon sitter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I blew up like a tick. And then that made me not be able to move even more because I'm carrying 50 extra pounds of not good weight. And so it's a combination of not working out and eating. You lose muscle mass and you gain really bad weight, and you
Well, I just found
become
it
sedentary.
Impressive that you did it without without the typical workouts that you used to do.
Well,
as
yeah,
a younger man.
Well,
So,
you can do
Great
it. You
job.
can do everything. I mean, a lot of this is 80% of it's diet. If you add that workout and the consistency with the workout, and you incorporate that diet to it, I mean, you can really make dramatic changes really fast. I was at a point that it was just too big to do it. You can do it both ways. I mean, you can start, the weight training and the resistance training with the cardio and losing weight. I was just at a point because of my injuries, I couldn't do it that way. Now, a person that's not as broke as me can go and do both of those and have much greater results much faster because they're hitting it from both ends. I couldn't do that because I had to get that bulk of that weight off so I could move again in order to incorporate the workouts again. So I just had to lose some of that weight to get back into the working out, and the working out part's coming.
That's a great story. And, listeners out there that are thinking, wow, I'm just, basically the hell with it. I'm not going to do anything. I've gained, 50 pounds, whatever, 100 pounds. I mean, your story is great. So, others do not have an excuse. If you can overcome the injury and still realize that it's time to get my ass in gear and get out there and do it. And look how great you look, Mike. Like I say, you're looking awesome. So it's about where you are today and moving forward. And people want, that's why those diets are so popular, and pills, we want instant gratification. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Society as a whole. But now I encourage you to listen to these guys. Their stories are great.
Well, thanks again. And again, your information will be out. So hopefully people will be reaching out to you, and we'll have you back.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. And you're going to have a
give
sponsor.
us an update. You can get,
You're going to have a sponsor. I need to get in first before Planet Fitness.
That's right.
Anytime, before all these other
That's
sponsors. So, yeah.
And also, so folks, if you have an email question for us that's not related to what George is talking about, obviously you can hit him up on these topics. But again, it's the current email at our site is mike@allredwhiteandblue.com, spelled out. So you have any questions, hit that. We'll be checking that out, and also we'll continue with hopefully having some good topics, some good guests, and so we're thankful. You're our second one.
Oh, man.
How about that?
This is awesome. This is awesome. I appreciate it.
See, I told you if you were my friend.
I've been
hung
waiting
around
for an
long
invite.
enough.
He was teasing me. Yeah, I'd like to have you on. So I just... So, guys, have we determined, is he definitely going to check in from Haiti? If he checks in from
I'm
Haiti...
really going to try to
He's
check
been
in.
kidnapped.
It depends if he gets into the wet bar in Punta Cana.
Yeah.
We might not hear from him
It
again.
depends on what this episode is going to be about the next week, too. So I might not want to have any parts of it.
What's it going to be?
No Haiti.
I don't know.
teaser,
I'm
or
going to
are
leave
we
it up to
gonna
the captain,
surprise?
I think. The captain's going to host.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think Todd should host.
Oh, he's got that bug. I think he's been itching.
There you
So
go.
for anybody that listens to this podcast,
All two of them.
oh no, this one in particular,
Yeah.
it came out. It came out when the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court just came down and a 9-0 on Trump.
Right,
cannot
right,
be removed
right.
from any ballots in the United
Shocker.
States.
I mean, come on.
So that's when this podcast is dropped.
Yeah. And now we're very close to the recording is actually now close to release. And that within 2 weeks, definitely, maybe soon within one. But so yeah, we've pretty much caught up since we were doing it in December and January. So yeah, it's not going to be much of a delay anymore. So for those of you who are wondering why we're talking about Christmas in February, there won't be any more of that, I don't think. But
all right, man.
Anyway,
You're doing great with
thanks for
this,
everybody
Mike.
listening. Huh?
You're
What?
doing great. I give
oh,
you
thanks,
props,
George.
man. Good job.
Yes. I keep you around.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll be together next week. And appreciate you sticking around, guys. I know it's a little later than normal, so but we'll be back next week. Talk to you later.
All right. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Big see ya.